key initial guidance. So here's what we're going to cover in this video. We'll start with what is and what isn't inside this course. We'll then talk about trading truly stripped back from the top down. And then we'll finish with the path that we'll actually walk throughout this program together. So let's start with what is and what isn't in this course. Okay, so before we get started and we actually dive into the course material itself, for those of you who are newer traders or perhaps even brand new traders, I just want to add that we won't be covering trading basics, so to speak, within this course, such as the different types of analysis, that being technical and fundamental. And we also won't be covering things like opening a trading account with a broker or a trading platform, walking through how to use certain platforms and so on. The reason for this is because this can all be found and learned easily and for free elsewhere on the internet. In fact, most, if not all, trading platforms actually offer setup guides and trading basics guides within their platforms. So rather than regurgitate that information here, we'll leave it out to make room for what you're truly here to learn. How to trade with a statistically proven edge over the markets, allowing you to begin extracting capital and making money as quickly and as easy as possible. With that said, in the case that it actually would help, I've put together a beginner's guide for you to really fast track taking in the basics. That's here within the course down at the bottom of the program. So using the sidebar on the left, if you hover your mouse over this and then scroll down to the bottom, look for the beginner's guide section and you can download that now or later if you wish. Within the guide, I'm going to explain exactly what trading is and how it works from a very beginner-friendly standpoint. So we'll touch on opening a trading account, we'll cover trading basics and terminology, we'll discuss what edge is, we'll cover risk and more on top of that. So again, either head to the resources section of the course now, after watching this video, and then make your way through that short guide then, or you can continue with the day 1 and day 2 content first and then get to the guide before you actually learn any of the strategies themselves. So what we will be covering, however, will be everything from mindset and understanding through to framework and structure through to the strategy or strategies themselves in detail. And this course, it's unlike any you've ever taken before because within this, you're going to learn the how and the why too. How to think like a professional trader, how to actively trade like a professional trader with each critical element and each crucial building block mapped out for you step by step. So just a few of the elements that we'll actually cover that are missing from every other course out there are things like how and more importantly why other traders so often fail. The stumbling blocks that trip them up, along with how to actually avoid these before falling foul to them. And we'll also discuss consistency and longevity too, because I don't want you to make money for 1 week or 1 month. I want you to make money across a lifetime using what you're about to learn inside this course. From there, and with the mindset and understanding section of the course covered, we'll then walk through the framework and structure section of the course next, where we'll cover key building blocks such as the 8 elements to understand before ever placing a trade, plus truly understanding risk, probabilities, win rates, position sizing to maximize profits. And believe me, the information you'll learn within this section alone is going to put you instantly ahead of the vast majority of other traders in an instant. It really is. Then we'll cover how I found the edges that you're about to learn, how I actually built the strategies that you're about to learn, along with what edge actually is. We'll take a deep dive into edge itself because when you've truly understood it, it will change your trading forever. From there, we'll dive into the all-important mechanical rules that we actually follow to trade each edge. And I'm going to explain the finer details of how we actually apply these, as well as looking closer at certain more detailed aspects of each with you. From there, we're going to look at examples of the edges actually in play. We're going to cover standout positions and unique market environments. And we're also going to move through finer details such as whether we should even take every trade that we're actually presented with, no matter what, and so on. After that, and with the edges mastered and the strategies ready to deploy, we'll cover carrying the edges into other markets, along with exactly how to do this, plus the tools needed, all pre-built and laid out for you. We'll discuss strategy expansion, experimentation, key risk management concepts relating to each edge that are going to allow you to further increase profitability and more. If you aren't already excited, believe me, you should be. This course, it is truly going to completely change your trading. It really is. So next, let's talk about trading stripped back. Okay, let's strip things back and let's actually set the foundations. So in its simplest form, trading is the buying and selling of financial markets, or in other words, products. Let's say you're headed for an interview at a proprietary firm or a hedge fund. They might begin by asking you, what products do you trade? Right, and the word product refers to the markets offered by brokers, and there are, of course, a broad range of these products or markets available to us. These range from equities markets, i.e. stocks, to bonds, through to foreign exchange markets, i.e. currencies, along with stock indexes, ETFs, and cryptocurrencies, plus commodities too. So before we go any further, let's discuss what each of these are in more detail so that you know everything required from the top. So equities markets, i.e. stocks, are the products of global businesses and companies. So for example, the Apple computer brand, or the Google search engine, or the Tesla car manufacturer, or even the Whole Foods supermarket chain. Brokers actually make these products available to trade when a company becomes publicly listed, and we then have the ability to invest in or trade these products. Bonds, on the other hand, are long-term lending agreements, often issued by governments or local authorities, and the reason that these are actually created is to provide funding. As an example, let's say that your local authority wanted to build a new highway, or invest in creating a new public park, or fixing potholes in the floor, right? To raise the capital that they need to pay for these, they might choose to release a bond to actually fund this, giving normal people like you and me the ability to lend them money by buying the bond itself, whilst they then pay us interest. Foreign exchange markets, i.e. currency markets, are of course everything from the United States dollar to the British pound to the New Zealand dollar, right through to the Swiss franc. And these currency exchange rates can actually be traded against each other as the rates fluctuate each day. Equity indexes, or indices as they're commonly referred to, are actually made up of the best performing stocks from within a single country. And again, as an example, let's take the S&P 500, initially founded by a company called Standard & Poor. The index is made up of the top 500 stocks from within that country, the United States, as selected by Standard & Poor. And each country actually has its own equity index, and each vary in size relative to the key companies contained within. ETFs, on the other hand, are exchange-traded funds, and you can think of these as similar to equity indexes in that they're often made up of other assets, i.e. a basket of stocks, for example. And you could imagine that they wrap together other products and almost act as an umbrella, so to speak, meaning that instead of buying, let's say, this stock or that stock, you might choose to invest in a whole sector, i.e. real estate. So instead of then buying this real estate stock or that real estate stock, you'd simply invest in the one single real estate exchange traded fund market. Cryptocurrencies, as we all know by now, are digital, decentralized electronic currencies, which are in many cases simply a store of value. So markets or products include Bitcoin, the most well-known of all cryptocurrencies, through to Ethereum, Litecoin, and Ripple. And like all products, these can be either bought outright or traded via a broker-provided platform. So now that we've covered all of the markets or products that we have available to us to actually trade, let's ask a key defining question. Why are we trading? The answer is to extract profits from the markets in the most simple, efficient way possible with the least effort and the least stress. It isn't to stay busy. It isn't as a hobby. It isn't to pass the time. It's to consistently raise the capital balance of our trading accounts. And there's a reason why I address this question so directly, which is because many traders forget actually how simple our job is. Our job is not necessarily to work hard. Our job is not to analyze markets all day without this being necessary. Our job is not to sit in front of a screen or 2 screens or 3 screens whilst trying to interpret the news or make guesses or predictions using indicators provided to us by our trading platforms, which, by the way, exist to produce a profit for themselves, not to help you produce a profit yourself. That's certainly something to think about there. Our job is essentially to find the easiest way to pull money out of the markets as regularly as possible, isn't it? With as much ease as possible, whilst using statistical proof to actually verify our actions and make sure what we're doing works and will, over the long term, result in profits being generated. That is our only job, which actually leads us to our next point to address. That being the path that we'll walk together within this program. So my job and my intention is to make you a truly great trader, not to simply give you the how, like many courses, but then leave out the why, and not to give you the why along with leaving out the how either. I'm not here to simply teach you a strategy or strategies. My job is to help you think correctly, to act correctly, and to actually trade correctly with a statistically proven edge over the markets. So we'll discuss these individual elements later in the program, along with how each is equally important. But fundamentally, there is one key thing that you must understand. You cannot trade profitably. You cannot make money as a trader without edge. If you trade without edge, in the long run, you will lose money. Again, we'll cover this in more detail later in the course, but before then, I'd like to make you a promise. Okay, if you'll do one thing for me, that being to take in the entirety of this program, every video, every section, every resource, along with putting in the hard work required along the way, along with working with me and my team, so letting us help you, support you, guide you, then you will, by the end of this program, be trading with edge and with the ability to make a living as a trader. I have to stress this though, you must take in the entirety of the program. Again, every section, every video, every resource, every data sheet in the order that it's laid out. Because the entire program is created to actually take you from where you are now to where you want to be. And by skipping around, you're likely to miss certain key points. You may miss a resource or a question that makes all the difference. And the transformation that you're about to undergo won't have the chance to truly take effect. If, however, you make that commitment to fully take in the entirety of the program, which after investing in yourself, after investing your time and your money into this program, I'm sure that you will, then rest assured, you will become a consistently profitable trader. And both me and my team, we're here to support you every step of the way. I thoroughly hope you're excited because this course, it is about to change everything for you. It really is. With that, let's move forward.